Hey everyone, I had the opportunity recently to work with Jamaison Schuler on this partner project as part of the Lunch with a Glass Artist group, the challenge. And so coming up here, I didn't shoot video, but I do have a bunch of still shots and I just have strung them together, add a little bit of voiceover to walk you through the steps. But thank you again, Jamaison. This was a fun project. Be sure you catch his video and then be sure you stay beyond the point where I say thanks for watching at the end. I do have a late add in the edit process. I've got a side-by-side photo of both our pieces. So anyway, here we go. Hi everyone, it's Jackie with Full Moon Loon Designs. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the steps that I went through to make the project for the partner challenge that was part of the Lunch with a Glass Artist Facebook group. I haven't been able to join a lot of the challenges. This might have been the first challenge. I did do a talk at one a few months back, and then this month it was the partner challenge. You and your partner, or you pick a partner, you pick an image, and then you both just go do your own thing with that image. So if you've already seen Jamison's video, you've seen this image. He used to do stained glass. I do not have a stained glass background, but he had a picture. I don't think it was from a pattern, it was just a picture. And it was this one because we were talking about flowers and orchids, and he likes Art Nouveau. He had this really cool image. So it's like, hey, I'd be down for that. So that was the image that we chose. And then in this next photo here, you'll see kind of what I did, and I think he did the same, is I printed it out in black and white. I photoshopped it to turn it more black and gray tone because I wanted more contrast. I wanted to cut pieces out. Now, I didn't go to the extreme and cut all of the little pieces and do the entire tile like a mosaic style. I kind of wish I would have now. We'll see what it looks like here in a little bit. But this is what I did. I cut out the pieces that I wanted to cut from some clear glass. This is just 2 millimeter thin. I used all 96 in my project. I just took stick glue and glued my paper down. It stayed pretty well through most of the cutting. I took it over to the ring saw. On the bigger piece on the right front area there, I think the paper started sliding a little bit. Jamaison has a really cool tip in his video, so if you haven't watched it, watch his how he does his cutting. And then after I cut the pieces, I didn't use powder, I used an extra fine frit. These were both extra fine grinds, like the number 00 from Val Cox. And I did a raspberry frit on the flower petals. And then I used, I should have grabbed my bottles and checked them. I believe it was either kiwi or apple green. I'll check. I'll check and I'll make a note in the description or I'll edit this, we'll see. But these are the pieces as I put them into the kiln. I just took them up about 13, I think about 1380 or so. I wanted to set them because I planned to add them to the tile and do a full fuse later. So I just kind of center fired them more or less. I mean, well, it's more than that. It was more like an elevated tack fuse probably. But they did fill in nicely. Let me see here in just a sec. And again, this was all 96 that I used. This is the good part about having a gazillion photos on my phone. I didn't have to go check my notebook. I had a photo of the frit that I used. And yes, I did use kiwi green as the color for the leaves, and then it was the raspberry color on the petals. As you'll see in the later process, I also had some red violet powder and a little bit of aventurine green powder on hand for some accents. But now back to the project. Here you can see, this was originally the piece that I was going to use for my background, but I ended up using a more opal piece of Ouroboros. But this was just a couple little pieces of dichro. I had some little dots that I put on there. Those were for the flower centers. The little yellow, I think those are sunflower yellow, I believe. Some 96, and again, it was just out of the scrap bin, so it wasn't marked, but I believe it's either sunflower, it could be yellow opal, but those were cuts for the pieces once I wanted to assemble them. Here you can see my base glass color that I ended up using. I've got a layer of thin laying there. I actually did a layer of 2 millimeter on the bottom. I used a dam mold, you'll see in the next photo. and then my green glass, and then the top layer of clear that I built my design on. And I'll show you what that looks like here in just a sec. This is a little different for me, taking still photos and doing voiceovers. I have to keep breaking and adjusting my photo length. Anyway, this was how I laid it out. I put the black and white photo under it, or actually I think I have the color photo under it here. Laid out some vitrograph pieces I had on hand that I pulled. I added a little contrasting powder on the petals as well as the leaves. And then that was the top layer to go over the first two. So again, here you see in the next photo, here we go, that I had a base layer of clear and then a green, and I used clear powder I sift in between layers. So that's what you're seeing there is the clear powder. And then I'm going to set that layer that I just built, the design layer, on top of all of these and then fire them to a full fuse. And we'll see that in the next picture. So here you see all the layers are put together. The design layer is laying on top, and that's going into the kiln for a full fuse. I really debated on doing more of a contour fuse, but because I did add powder on there, I wanted that to be smooth. And in the end, I thought, you know what, this might look kind of cool as a full fuse. If I had the chance to do it over, I don't think I would do a full fuse. I think I would have done everything on the petals first and maybe fired those separately, but you'll see why at the end of it. But here it is firing. It was a full fuse. I'll have to check my notes for how long I held it, but that's the 6-inch petitgradium. And here it is out of the kiln. I don't plan on slumping this one at all. I'm just going to keep it as a tile. But you can kind of see in the picture here, at least I can totally see it, the outlining around them. And a couple things. One, because I did have individual pieces that went in for a full fuse, but you got to remember that I added color to those petals in the form of the fine frit, and it covered it well, but obviously it's not going to go over the edges. So one thing I thought about doing differently was maybe making a part sheet and pre-firing some color onto some clear and then cut it out. It might do a little better, but still you've only got color on a piece of clear, so as that glass spreads, you're probably going to get that halo effect. But in the end, I'm not hating it. I'm not crazy about the dichro in the center, but it is what it is now. If I had it to do over again, and hey, who knows, I might just do it over again. I might do some things differently. I would do some things differently, and I might make it more of a mosaic piece as well. The color choices are not bad. The colors did contrast quite a bit from the raspberry frit that I was using, and then that was a red violet powder that I did around the edges, also from Valcox. And then I think on the green leaves, I ended up just sifting a little bit of aventurine green, so it has just a little bit of a kind of a sparkly green there. But anyway, that was my part of the Partner Project Challenge for, I don't know if it's a monthly one. I need to be more involved in the groups, but I tell you, between work and everything else, sometimes it's hard to find the downtime to play. But I did enjoy the project. I wish I would have had more time to put more thought into how I really wanted to do it. But again, not hating it in the end. I do like the colors. I just see opportunities for things, and it was some lessons learned. But anyway, as always, thanks for watching. Thank you, Leah. A shout out to you for collecting the photos and organizing stuff. And Jamaison, especially, thank you for picking me as your partner. And it was fun to work on, and I look forward to another challenge in the future. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.